Exodus Housing, which is a partner ministry in our neighborhood that serves women and children who are escaping from domestic abuse. Thank you for your generosity. Let me invite you, as always, into this time of prayer with some time in silence. Just an opportunity to arrive, to breathe deeply, to prepare your heart to sing and pray. Number 785, When Peace Like a River. 785.
Even so
611, I heard the voice of Jesus say. Reflections on the word assigned for the week this Lent come to us from the Lenten devotional that was developed in 2020 by Street Psalms, a ministry in downtown Tacoma, with the aid and the participation of preachers from around the region. So tonight's reflection comes to us from Reverend Julie Johnson, who previously served Fircrest Presbyterian Church and now serves the congregation in Olympia. From John chapter 4. I will become in them a spring of water gushing up to eternal life. This is called springs. Springs can appear in unlikely places. Last summer, I climbed Mount St. Helens with friends. The mountain is a desolate gray landscape of volcanic ash and large boulders. Yet in the midst of this lifeless land, I discovered a spring of water and the flowing creek it formed. In Tacoma, the majority of our water supply is pumped from productive aquifers that stretch from north of the Nally Valley all the way to Lakewood. Wells that access these aquifers can pump 55 million gallons per day. It may surprise many of us that this abundance comes from a rich and renewable resource that is invisible, yet right beneath us. Jacob's well is an unlikely place for the encounter between Jesus and the Samaritan woman. It is surprising that Jesus is in Samaria at all, given given the history of animosity between Jews and Samaritans, and we would not have expected a Jew to speak to a Samaritan nor a man to speak to a woman. Much is often assumed about the marital and sexual history of the Samaritan woman, but as biblical interpreter Gail O'Day writes, quote, "Nothing in the tone of these verses conveys that Jesus judges the woman and her history. The tone of judgment belongs to centuries of commentators, not to Jesus." End quote. So let us begin by noting that while the Samaritan woman's interaction with Jesus is surprising, it is not because she is an unworthy conversation partner. It turns out that both Jesus and the Samaritan woman are thirsty, and both long to be fully known. Jesus asks for water, and in Jesus' attentiveness to the Samaritan woman, senses an invitation to explore her soul's deepest longings. And he listens deeply. In this unlikely place, he reveals himself to be the source of water that will satisfy the Samaritan woman's thirsting spirit, even in the most desolate of landscapes. In one of the longest dialogues in John's Gospel, the Samaritan woman becomes ever more herself, intelligent, uninhibited, courageous, and one of the first evangelists. I marvel at the generative, life-giving beauty of Jesus' attention and love. It is a beauty that nourishes the Samaritan woman's spirit. Jesus' presence invites her to become who she is, which is to say, to become more fully human. As she leaves her water jar and returns to her village, she continues to question, discern, and attend to the beauty that is flowing in and through her on account of her encounter with Jesus. Springs of living water can appear in unlikely places, places where our family or culture may tell us we should not go. In my life, springs sometimes appear when I initiate a difficult conversation and I experience unexpected grace. There are occasions that I discover a spring when my back is against the wall and I'm finally honest about a poor choice I've made. In other moments, I notice a spring of living water when someone discounts my voice and I find the courage to stand up for myself. God meets us in unlikely places and nourishes us with springs of living water. In these unexpected encounters, God's grace flows freely, and we learn that fear does not have the last word. These are the spaces that invite us to discover what Howard Thurman calls the sound of the genuine in ourselves. The sound of the genuine. God's beauty nourishes us through the discovery of our own giftedness and invites us to grow and learn and become God's people in the world. Number 790